I want to begin this session by centering ourselves in the mission of the Massachusetts Safe Routes to School program. Our program works to increase safe biking and walking among elementary and middle school students by using a collaborative, community-focused approach that bridges the gap between health and transportation. Let's talk about the history of Safe Routes to School. In the mid-1970s, Denmark was cited as having Europe's highest student pedestrian fatality and injury rate. This prompted the city of Odense to start a pilot program in which all 45 of its schools identified specific road dangers. The city created a network of pedestrian and bicycle paths, narrowed roads, and established traffic islands. For the past 25 years, approximately 80% of all students at Odense have walked or biked to school, and in the past 2 decades, the number of injured students in Odense has decreased by 30 to 40%. After Denmark's program caught on, other programs began in Great Britain and Canada in the 1990s. The Bronx, a borough of New York City, started the first Safe Routes to School project in the United States in 1997, and in that same year, the state of Florida implemented a pilot program. Arlington, Massachusetts was selected as one of 2 Safe Routes to School pilot programs to receive congressional funding. Evaluation of the successes of these early programs in increasing walking and biking to school, as well as reducing parents driving their children to school, spurred Congress to establish the $612 million National Safe Routes to School program in 2005. It is important to have an understanding of what the Massachusetts Safe Routes to School is and is not. Our program currently engages with 63% of towns and communities to support elementary and middle school students as they walk, bike, and roll to and from school. We provide a variety of free services via designated outreach coordinators who work with not only schools, but a broad range of stakeholders. It is important to understand that the Safe Routes to School staff do not run your program. We help you implement the tools and resources our program offers to create a safe and sustainable program. The Massachusetts Safe Routes to School program does not work on school busing. We are not trained engineers, and while we do have an infrastructure component to our program, our focus lies more on the programmatic aspects. Regardless of what Safe Routes to School looks like in your community, safety of all students, staff, families, and community members always comes first. Since 1969, the number of elementary and middle school students who walk, bike, or actively roll to school has dropped by 35%, from nearly 1 out of every 2 students to less than 1 in every 7 students. According to a study conducted by the National Center for Safe Routes to School, in 1969, 48% of children ages 5 to 14 usually walked or biked to school. In 2009, 13% of children ages 5 to 14 usually walked or biked to school. In 1969, 41% of children in grades K through 8 lived within 1 mile of school. 89% of these children usually walked or bicycled to school, according to the United States Department of Transportation. In 2009, 31% of children in grades K through 8 lived within 1 mile of school, while 35% of these children usually walked or biked to school, according to the National Center. So what happened in our country that led to such a steep decline in students that walk, bike, and roll to school? There is a perception in many communities that a lot of families have access to multiple vehicles, many of whom may have 2 or more. This is leading to parents and guardians often finding it more convenient to drive their children to school versus taking the time to walk, bike, or roll. Many school campuses were not designed for large quantities of vehicles queuing up to pick up and drop off their students. This phenomena has led to an increase in parent and guardian traffic on public roadways, which is causing public safety concerns. Something that has changed is increased parent fees as well. Many school districts charge fees for many quote unquote extras, including school buses. Finally, climate change has caused many once-in-a-lifetime storms to happen at higher frequency. I think many of us can remember back to the snowstorms of 2015 and the challenges that came with navigating that once-in-a-lifetime storm. While making it safer to walk or bike was the original goal in Denmark, there are many other potential benefits of Safe Routes to School. Local Safe Routes to School programs may play a role in reducing traffic congestion and vehicle emissions around schools, improving students' health by giving them the opportunity to meet their physical activity requirements. Studies have also shown that an increase in physical activity can lead to improved academic performance. Safe Routes to School programs have also been shown to reduce chronic tardiness and absenteeism. There's often even less time to be active during the school day due to COVID-19. So walking, biking, and rolling to school often helps to encourage more physical activity during the day. Sedentary lifestyles and poor eating habits are major contributors to the current obesity epidemic and increase in related diseases. The obesity epidemic is just a warning sign of a deeper problem to come. Children and adolescents are now developing obesity-related diseases, such as type 2 diabetes, at higher rates than we've seen in the past. Local Safe Routes to School programs may also help by helping students become ready to learn by walking and biking to school, teaching students fundamental safety skills and reminding drivers to watch out for pedestrians, providing the opportunity to increase older students' sense of freedom and responsibility, get physical activity since it may be limited during school hours, reduce the traffic congestion and related pollution around schools associated with more families deferring to drive without considering negative health impacts of increasing single occupancy vehicle school commute trips. And finally, Safe Routes to School programs can increase community-wide walkability. There are many reasons why Safe Routes to School is needed. We will explore 3 of the many examples highlighting the importance of Safe Routes to School: school siting issues, addressing barriers to walking, biking, and rolling, as well as general community concerns. A generation or more ago, schools were small and located in the centers of communities. The close proximity of schools to residential neighborhoods encouraged walking and biking. Today's schools are built to accommodate a far larger number of students. In the 2011-2012 school year, the average school attendance for public elementary and secondary schools was 520 students. Some mega schools may house up to 2,800 students, such as the school shown in this photo. Schools are increasingly being built on fringe land in the periphery of towns and cities on parcels anywhere from 10 to 30 acres or more in size. By increasing the distance between home and school, these more distant schools often remove the option of physically active trips to and from school and encourage higher levels of auto use and pollution. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention studied how many students walk and bike to school and what barriers parents and guardians report that keep them from allowing their students to walk or bike. Parents and guardians say that distance, traffic dangers, and adverse weather are the main reasons why students don't walk or bike to school. While this report is from 2005, a report from the National Center for Safe Routes to School in 2010 found that these barriers remained the same. The second barrier given for walking and biking to school was traffic. Parents and guardians feeling it is not safe for their students to walk or bike due to increased traffic. Parents and guardians are concerned about safety sometimes respond by putting their students in the car and driving them, which may not be a safer alternative. And more parents and guardians driving their students to school results in more cars on the road, often making it less safe for others to walk and bike. During COVID-19, communities are also seeing an uptick in speeding as traffic volumes have generally decreased. Safe Routes to School can help address this barrier through our driver education materials, walking school bus programs, and arrival dismissal observations. Adverse weather was the third most cited reason parents and guardians gave for why their students did not walk or bike to school. However, the weather hasn't changed much since a generation ago, when so many students walked or biked. Over the last generation, we have become a more car-centric society. It is possible that weather is a barrier, really just reflective of changed social norms in contemporary America, where people are accustomed to driving an automobile for almost every trip. That makes it very easy to forego walking and jump in a car at the first sight of cold, rain, heat, snow, etc. There's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. And consider that the Safe Routes to School efforts have been very successful in climates of all kinds of weather across the country, from cities in Canada, such as Toronto and Quebec City, to Chicago, Minneapolis, and many of our communities here in Massachusetts. 12% of parents and guardians surveyed listed crime and danger as a barrier to allowing their students to walk and bike to school. As local Safe Routes to School programs encourage more students to walk and bike to school, the issue of student personal security often arises. The range of personal security concerns is broad and often not unique to the trip to school. Students and caregivers may face fears around bullying, personal violent crime, exposure to gang activities or abduction at school, on the playground, or during after-school programming. In some communities, these concerns pose a real challenge to keeping students safe on their journey to school, whether by bus, bike, walking, etc. In other communities, the perception of what could happen is the greatest concern. Safer to School programs alone cannot fix personal security issues, but they can be an important component of a broader community-wide response. Later today, we'll be talking about some of these strategies, such as adults leading walking school buses that collect neighborhood elementary students along the way to school, or middle school students walking or biking together in groups. Each community has its own set of issues that inhibit the ability to walk and bike to school. Communities have cited issues like abandoned buildings, graffiti, stray dogs, and as disincentives to walk and bike to school. There are often perceived and actual safety concerns within a community. In Cleveland, Ohio, community members spent one day painting abandoned buildings and trimming vegetation in order to make the street feel safer for walking. The image above shows before and after. Notice the blue painted curtains in the lower photo, making the house feel more homey. As I mentioned earlier, Safer to School programs can be part of the solution to making walking and biking safer, which can in turn be an ideal strategy to increase physical activity among students and improve air quality. Each school and community has a different goal they would like to accomplish. Safer to School programs are customizable to meet everyone's needs. A study of 801 schools between 2007 and 2013 in the District of Columbia, Florida, Texas, and Oregon found that schools with Safer to School education encouragement programs saw a yearly 5% increase in walking and biking rates, and schools with infrastructure improvements resulted in an 18% increase in walking and biking. The impacts were independent, suggesting that a school that combines engineering improvements with education and encouragement could potentially see increases in walking and biking up to 43% over 5 years. The takeaway here is that infrastructure improvements alone cannot elevate walking and biking rates. Safer to School education and encouragement programming is also needed to be included. Each school starts from very different conditions. Some schools have great places for walking and biking, but few students are taking advantage of it. Other communities may have students walking and biking to school in unsafe conditions or along poorly maintained facilities. Each program involves the community as a whole. Parents and neighborhood groups, law enforcement officers, community leaders, transportation and public health professionals are all important to help identify these issues. Safer to School programming may look very different from school to school, as the local school community can select from the toolbox of Safer to School interventions to address their unique needs. The flexibility of Safer to School programs promotes community ownership and inclusivity. Finally, while there is no one right way to create a Safer to School program, let's look at the process communities have followed for increasing opportunities for safe walking and biking to school. This process involves getting the right people at the table from the beginning to create a task force, gathering information and identifying potential issues, working to find solutions, developing a plan, acting on the plan, and evaluating the plan and making necessary changes as needed. We will be doing a mini version of this process today.